Kraken. 18 days to go. What is going on, everyone? How are you guys doing? What's poppin'? What is going on? How are you guys? What is going on, Pirate Broadcast? What's cracking? How are you? I think. Hey, Purple Paisley, how are you? Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you. What is cracking? How is everyone doing this evening? Just trying to get ready for today's stream. Appreciate you. Thank you. A little bit of a tutorial, I think. What is going on? Oh, my lapel? What's happening here? All right. Oh, my shirt. There it is. See? There you go. Make my shirt a little bit better. Hump day. Today's hump day. Today's Wednesday. The week is almost up. That's exciting. 18 days to go. Day 82. You guys hear Koa? She's going up and down the steps. She's about to get put in the crate is what's about to happen. Because she's being a pain in the butt. All right. Let's get it. Yeah, girl. And showtime. What is cracking, fam? How are you guys doing? We are here with there you go, day 82, 18 days to go. We are winding down. So gonna kind of, I have 5 bombs. Gonna kind of go into a little bit of a tutorial today. Not your traditional, usually when I do some tutorials and how-tos, I like to bring in the overhead shot to show what I have on the screen and stuff. However, I figured we can kind of get into a little bit, not too detailed, but we can start to dive into some mobile editing on the iPad using Lumafusion. I know that we've talked about this multiple times and now we're like right at the home stretch. So I'm like, let me get some of this stuff in and we can go over maybe some of the basics. I can show you guys what is going on, Paul. I was literally about to like text you and just make sure that you were okay because you are always on time and you're always keeping me in the loop. So I was worried. I was like, did I talk to him today? And I realized we did text earlier today. So excuse me, ma'am. Go to bed. Go to bed. Go. Go to bed. Go. Okay. Oh, now I'm knocking stuff over. Oh, okay, cool. No worries. I know that, yeah, it's Koa. And she looked at me like, what, Mom? I'm just playing. Anyway. So, and yes, Robin, how are you feeling? Thank you for coming through. You did make it to the live. So I figured we can go over some iPad editing with the Apple Pencil, Lumafusion. So we'll probably, when I get back to the studio, maybe at some point next week, we'll kind of do a secondary part so you can see the actual Apple Pencil at work with Luma, because I don't have an overhead camera. But background music, that is not background. We're not going to listen to that as background music. No, definitely not. But let's see. So let me see. What is this here? This is a brand new scene. And boom. Cool. Is this everything? It's kind of everything. Nope. So what I'm going to do is we are going to do a blank scene from source. I'm going to bring in a camera overlay. I'm going to change it to my iPad Pro. Let's round out or square out these corners because I want you guys to be able to see everything. Ooh, that's weird. I'm bringing it in NDI. Let's see. And the very top of the app, what's happening here? I'm pressing the wrong button. The very top of the app. That's kind of sucky. Gets cut off. So we're probably going to have to make do then with what we have. All right, so I guess let's go back to that other scene. Where were we? I have no idea. This one here? Me zoomed in? That's not the scene. I don't know what scene I was in, but that's fine. Let's just do this. Let's go back here. Take this overlay out. I'm going to try to make the best of it. So Lumafusion, let's go to the app. Oh, this is, do I have, let me see if I feel like if I bring in my iPad via USB-C, because the whole iPad is getting cut off. And I know I have my display. That's weird. Let me try one other thing really quick. So let's go back. And it could be because I'm bringing it in as NDI. Sometimes NDI does get a little, what's the custom? So is it 4:3 the custom? Boom. So just so you guys know, if you're bringing in an iPad through Ecamm as a camera overlay, the first thing is that you need to change the shape. If you want to get the whole iPad screen, change the shape from wide to actual classic, because that's the aspect ratio, 4:3, 4:3 classic. So let's see. We're going to work with what we got here. So we're going to have some black borders for now. I'm going to have to take that away from Koa. Let's go over here. Come here. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, go lay down. Okay, she's mad at me. All right, cool. So the first thing is the app itself. So if we're looking at the icons, it's where the bottom left-hand, bottom right-hand corner, you see it says NDI, and then there's like this blue with green icon. Click on that. This is my Lumafusion app. I think it's like $30 on the App Store itself. One time, no subscription. You just pay upfront. I've had it for about 2 years, I think, since the pandemic. I've had it. And this is how I actually started editing. It's a really good competitor to kind of like Final Cut Pro. I like it. Works really well. One of the things that they've done in one of the most recent updates within the last, let's say, 6 to 8 months, is that you can actually edit off of an SD, an external hard drive. So if you have big files like pre-recorded videos or live streams that you want to take and edit, so that's the way I have mine connected right now. Here's my iPad Pro. I have the I'm gonna put her in the crate. Okay, time to go to bed. Go to bed. Come on, go to bed. Go to bed. Thank you. Okay. All right, sorry guys. Okay, let's get back to business. So I have this is the T5, Samsung T5, SSD via USB-C connected to my iPad. And so I always, when I'm going to edit on Lumafusion, usually what I'll do is I take the pre-recorded video, like when I'm in the studio, record it to my hard drive that's always connected to the TS3 dock. I keep a copy there, and then I just duplicate that video file and I connect the TS5, the SSD, and I bring that over. You turn on a setting on your Lumafusion, and then everything that you do will be edited on your SSD drive, very similar to Final Cut, right? Because as it starts to render files and as you start to add in all of these things, those files can become very large, and you don't want it eating your disk drive space on your desktop or on your laptop. Same thing with an iPad. So depending on which iPad you have, especially if you have a 64 gig, I have the iPad mini 64 gig. I'm ready to sell it because I've already run out of space. I had to delete apps. Shame on me, worst decision ever, because this iPad, my Pro, is I think 256 gigabytes, but I digress. So whether you're working with Final Cut on your desktop or on your laptop or do some mobile editing, you absolutely want to make sure that you edit off of a hard drive. It's better if you edit off of an SSD drive, because the SSD drives are going to be, one, more reliable, and two, they're going to go at faster read-write speeds than an actual hard drive with the disk drive. So we are looking at Lumafusion itself. Let me see, how can I do this? I want to do this so I can stay kind of in camera view over here. So what I'm scrolling down towards the bottom, these are all of kind of like my projects on the bottom. Let me see really quick. Let me hide my controls. All right, cool, just so I can see it. If we look along the very bottom left-hand corner, you have the first icon is highlighted in blue. Then you have your plus. Can you guys see? So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my settings, and under settings, you can actually turn on. So for purposes like this, you can actually turn on where it shows the mouse clicks, preferences, and okay, so good. I'm glad we went to preferences. So under settings, in preferences, and then under advanced settings, you can see right towards the bottom where it says external drive editing, that needs to be turned on. If that's not turned on, then it won't work. So if you don't have Lumafusion, you're thinking about getting it, that's definitely a plus. Where is my, so preview, let me just, I know it's like hidden, show touches. So right over here under user interface, you have show touches. I'm going to turn that on. And now, there you go. It'll show as I move throughout the screen when I click, because I'm using an Apple Pencil, excuse me. So as I start to, I'm going to go to the upper left-hand corner where it says transitions. If I click on that, you guys can see that on the screen now, there is this blue button. So that's my mouse. So it kind of gives you a virtual mouse. So when you are doing, let me just hide my days to go. So when you're kind of doing a demo like this, that's actually really cool to turn on. Okay, so now let's go back to the bottom. So if we go back to the bottom, that just opens up the last project that I was in. Actually, that's the second one. If I click on the plus, so it looks like, for me, it looks like a little picture with a plus sign. We're going to click on that there. That goes to where all of my projects are. So these are all the projects that I kind of have in my files. You can select a specific one. So, and you can see I've labeled these. So I have like the RWG2 and iPad, which is this one right here. If we go back, you have RWG2 and iPhone. If I wanted to, so if I wanted to edit, so we're in the iPad one. If I wanted to edit the iPhone one, I can just click on that. And now double click on it. It takes me directly to that file. Your pencil, I love using Lumafusion with the pencil because your pencil is going to work just like a mouse. So think of this, right? And like I said, I'll revisit it next week so we can kind of do an overhead view so you can see the physical iPad. But just think of your iPad here. Let me just hold on to this. Think of the iPad this way here, where, right, I'm just going to take my pencil and just kind of drag through. So really seamless there. You can select everything. If I want to make my file a little bit bigger, or you can pinch there and you can see on the screen, I have my pinches. And then if I want to, let's say, double click on this top file right here, right, I can double click on that. And so the Apple Pencil, we're going to go back little by little, but I just wanted to show you. Sorry, I keep kicking the camera. Let's see. So let's just go back to our main screen. Make sure I'm keeping an eye on you guys in the comments. All good. Okay, so back on the bottom left-hand corner, we have our projects. If you wanted to start a brand new project, then the plus sign right over here, you start a new project, create new project. We'll get back to that. Then this one here is if you want to import sources. So if, let's say you have files from any one of these sources, then you can click on those things. If you have source files like assets, let's say logos, audio, video, things like that, B-roll that you've saved. Let me cancel out of here. Cancel again. So you can choose from your Files app from OneDrive, or you can add and edit sources, and then you have some more options over this way. So if you have like the Western Digital hard drives where they have their own dedicated app, shh, no, quiet. They have their own app. You can see SanDisk if you have a wireless network drive, right? So those, all of those options, and then your standard, your handles. So I actually use Files app and I use OneDrive. So I'm gonna put that in that order. All right, let's get back out of there. That's the import. Here, is this to duplicate? I haven't used this in a while. Yes, that duplicated. So what I did was this one right here just duplicates your highlighted file. I want to delete that, so I'm just gonna go to the trash can at the end because I don't need a duplicate. And then, let's see, this one is optimize and consolidate. So obviously, if I have stuff that I want to now, I'm not using it anymore, I want to optimize and consolidate, you can kind of go through that. I don't know how long it's going to take, so I'm not going to do that right now because I haven't. I think that's a new feature since I haven't done pre-recorded videos, edited videos in the last 100 days. And then before that, I didn't do too many because I switch back and forth between Final Cut. Just depends on what I want to do. So when I use the Lumafusion app, I really use the Lumafusion app when I want to kind of, it's a quick video that I want to do. I'm just going to do some chops, some edits. If I want to do a little bit of like how I have here on the screen where it says internal to external, just throw on some really quick visuals, nothing too fancy. I don't need to use any of the like plugins or anything like that. Just sit on the sofa, do a quick edit. That's when I'll use Lumafusion. What's really cool is that now with the M1 and what is it, the Rosetta chip with the M1, that feature, you can actually use Lumafusion as a desktop app as well. So I had gotten Final Cut Pro as a part of a package. I just bounced back and forth between the two. But I think that this is, you know, throughout the 100 days, I've spoken about having multiple tools in your toolbox. And I definitely, if you have an iPad, at least an 11-inch and an Apple Pencil, I would absolutely recommend having this in your toolbox because this is even cool. So again, when we're talking about smaller things, I would absolutely say if you're going to be doing TikTok videos, Reels, Shorts, those shorter 60-second hitters or 90-second now for Instagram Reels, this app will be perfect for it. And you can just hang out, do it from wherever it is, portable, on the go, and you know, you kind of go from there. So obviously you can search if you want to search through a specific name and you have your projects listed. What is cracking, Gabe? How are you? Thank you for coming through. I don't want to search. Let's go back home. If you want to sort here by title, so on and so forth. If you want to share this particular project, obviously you have your share, and then you can choose what do you want to share from this project. Do you want to share the audio only? So technically you can come in, clean up an episode, let's say a live stream, and clean the episode up, chop it up, and then take that audio and throw that into your podcasting app, right? This doesn't have any audio editing features. It's very basic. So then at that point you want to use something more dedicated, but you guys know, like, my mic at home is a really good quality mic that if I wanted to get a quick podcast, maybe 20-minute episode, and just pull the audio and throw it up, I can absolutely do that. And I'd probably feel really comfortable with the audio quality at that point doing it that way. The snapshot feature is really cool because what you can do is you can go through your project, and if you want to use a snapshot from that project, so let's say I wanted to use a different part of this section. Let me just come back. Right, so I'm just taking my Apple Pencil and I'm going across the timeline. On the top, you can see where I'm dragging it back and forth. And let's say I wanted to use this here as a thumbnail for my YouTube. Well, I can just click on this, the share, click on snapshot, and it's going to take that and give me a high quality snapshot. I feel like it probably saved to my photos. We'll get out of the screen because I don't need you guys looking through all my photos. But that's what that does. Final Cut Pro also has that feature as well. And then we kind of went to the settings. We can look at the settings again. So here you can choose, if you know that you're always shooting in, let's say, 24 frames per second, 60 frames per second, 30 frames per second, you can set your default frames per second. Same thing with your aspect ratio. So if you were going to use Lumafusion just to have, let's say, reels, shorts, that portrait mode, you can choose that as defaults. Your color grading, I'm not into that, so I leave it on the standard. Here, your fit mode, anything else on here? I had really left everything the same. The only thing that I did was change the frame rate to 30 frames per second because that's how I shoot when I'm at home. You see you have some ducking options there. And then your preferences. Under preferences, kind of duplicates the project defaults there. And I do have turned on adjust based off first video clip added. So if there are some videos that I wanted to get more of that cinematic look, and I did intentionally change the video recording to 24 frames per second, well, what's going to happen is if that's the first file that I add into my project, Lumafusion's going to see that that first file is at 24 frames per second, and it's going to turn that whole project into 24 frames per second. As you go ahead and you make edits, it's going to keep different projects, so of backups of that project. So like that, if you need to go back to a different version or if your computer crashes, you'll always have. So you can choose how many number of project backups to keep. This is where it's really important to then tie in your external SD drive, right? Your external hard drive, because if you have that number of projects higher, that file is going to be bigger. Even if it's one backup project plus the project itself, that's going to definitely start taking up memory space. So I always, it's kind of like a cadence, right? I open up Lumafusion, I connect my SSD, and I just let the two work simultaneously together. I turned on the show touches. Let me see what else is on here. External drive editing, the preview, you can change that. So do you want it balanced so that, I mean, now with all of the iPads, whether it's and mine is the 2020, so it's the iPad Pro right before they came out with the M1. And this handles the editing and exporting like a champ. It's actually super quick. It's not like super, super quick, but I can do edits. I have no issues with wait time and things like that. So I leave it on good, but if you wanted to have fast, balanced, good is the default. Let's see what else is on here. The snapshots are what I just showed you before. If you wanted to choose a thumbnail from your video and you want to specify whether you want that snapshot to be a PNG or a JPEG file, you have that there. And that's pretty much it for your settings. All right. Hey girl, hey, how are you doing today? Let's see, you guys are saying hello to each other. Let's see, good. Purple Paisley, that makes me happy. So like I said, this is gonna be kind of a quick rush through, and then next week, I actually have a project that I've been saving to go through it. So I figured let's go through what Lumafusion looks like. Let's go through the software, the apps, the different, very basic, high level, overview. And then next week I can bring that project in and we can edit, or I can edit my video as you guys follow along and understand the process there. What is going on? K-Walk, I feel like I need your number because I was like, oh my God, I know K-Walk is gonna want this. We're doing a little bit of Lumafusion today, so I'm glad that you're here. The only thing you missed was kind of the settings and the main page, so you came right in time. Very glad to be here, that you're here. What is going on? Obs, how are you doing? Appreciate you and your support. All right, so that's your main page. So let's start a whole new project so it can be blank from scratch. So I'm just gonna click over here by this plus sign and I'm just gonna do this. Let's just title this. Oh, I have Scribble turned on. 100 days of live streams. Okay. All right, let me see, move that around. I'm gonna leave everything, so frame rate, aspect ratio, leave all of that the same. Click the plus sign, and now we have a blank slate. And what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna switch out the comments so I can keep an eye on you over here. Oh, that's dope, K-Walk. That makes me happy. Good. Glad to hear that. What's happening here? All right. Good. I was actually talking to Paul, so that's going to be the next thing. I'm going to do a mini masterclass, cost effective, so friendly with price because it's going to be mini, introductory. I'll have that listed once the 100 days. I'm going to kind of do that as another project, and I have some other things in the keyboard. Oh, that's dope. I have that as well. Good stuff from Editor's Keys. Good, good, good stuff. All right. So now let's go to the top. So if we click on the top over here, I'm going to click on that arrow on the top left-hand side. And there you can see where now you can start to bring in different things. So if I want to look at the photos, I can bring that in. Whatever linked folders I've previously done. So you can see here, because I edit from my hard drive, I have my T5 linked. If there's any cached media, it does that for you, and you can add additional links. So you can specify if you know you have your hard drive, but there's multiple files within your hard drive and you want to be, but you have a specific, let's say Reels folder, then you can just do add link to folder and then have Lumafusion always choose that folder. So let's go through that together. Not together, together. Where is, let me collapse this. Okay, so you see I have my iCloud, all the tongue twisters today. My iCloud drive, you can see on the bottom I have my T5. So let's click on the T5 and then you can see I have some folders here. So actually I just cleared out the recent recordings from my GoPro this week and I put that on the hard drive. So let's do that, and I have assets. Let's do assets there. And then I'm gonna add the GoPro folder here. So I linked 2 additional folders. Assets, I feel like should be what it sounds like, logos and stuff. I haven't used it in a while. So let me see, let me click on assets. Yep, and that's exactly what I've saved previously. So like my logo, the Ecamm logo, and that's all I have on here. But let's say we want to bring that in. Let's do the Ecamm logo. I'm gonna do the white one. And so that gives you, clicking on it, gives you a visual of what it looks like there. That's a video. Yes, that's a video. And if I want to bring that in, double click, it drags it down. So now I have my Ecamm logo there. If we double click that, because now you can see that this logo is way small, way bigger than what it should be. And all I'm doing, you can see on the screen where when I'm touching, it has my 2 fingers. I'm just pinching this in because this is a logo, and now taking the Apple Pencil and manipulating this. So now let's just go back. Let's start again. So now you can see it shows up as an actual logo, right, on the lower right-hand side. What I did was for this particular clip, and if you have some video editing, then it's going to work the same from Final Cut, from Lumafusion, from like Filmora or whatever. In theory, it should all be the same. K-Walk, I'll get to your question. Definitely. Thank you for putting the Q in front of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click. That's going to open up that file, right? And so what I want to do is let's just go back and let's undo those changes. All right, let me go back. All right, so let's double click. Let's bring that in. Double click on the file itself. And now you can see that this file is way bigger than what it is. If we take a look, you can see that there's a gray box. The file that I brought in expands past that gray box. So that gray box is your video file. That's the size of the video that once it's done and it's exported, everything should fit within that box, right? Your 16:9 ratio. So all I'm going to do is, because I want to make my file smaller, you want to make sure that you're in frame and fit. So if we take a look down here on the lower left hand side, you can be in your frame and fit, or you can change this one over here is your color and effects. So you can change the different color, like color grading and things like that. You can do your chroma keying. We may not get to all of this stuff today, but just to kind of go through this super quick. So we're just going to come back to our frame and fit. And all I'm going to do is just because now if we look over to the right, you see you have your fit mode, cropping if you wanted to crop it out, size and position, and then your blending. It defaulted to size and position. That's what I want to do. So now I'm just going to go in and I'm going to pinch this. You can pinch with your fingers or with the Apple Pencil. I can just go ahead and drag, right? So you can see that because I'm using the Apple Pencil, there's just one dot on the screen, and all I did was kind of like how we resize overlays in Ecamm. Just take it, drag it, make it smaller. And so for a logo, bring that down right on the corner over here. And now we'll just back out. And now you can see, all right, so we're good to go. So let's say I want that logo to be in the entirety of my video. And let's say my video is going to be 3 minutes long. So you see that you have the little arrows over here, the arrow before the clip and the arrow after the clip. I'm just going to take this white arrow over here outside of the clip and just drag it out. And so you can see as I'm dragging it out, you can see that there's 2 numbers. The one number is in brackets where it's 3.10. Then to the right of the brackets, you have a positive 1.09. So the one that's in the brackets tells you how long the file, the actual clip is right now, and then how much time I'm adding to that clip. All right. So let's say, so what did I say? I said I wanted to do 3 minutes. Okay, cool. And now we're good to go, right? This is going to be 3 minutes. All right. What is going on, Sammy Superstar? I appreciate you. Paul is just reminding you guys, don't forget to hit that like button. Appreciate you there. Okay. K-Walk. Is it faster to edit through cloud drive or external SSD? Definitely, I would say external SSD, because depending on the cloud drive, if it hasn't yet downloaded, it'll show up like if it's still in the cloud, it's going to delay your process, because then you're going to have to click on it. It'll show up with like hashes throughout. It shows up usually blue and white, and I'm sure I can show you an example, but it's like blue and white, kind of grayed out, but blued out, and it's hashes across the screen. That means that it hasn't yet been downloaded. Whereas once you connect your SSD drive and it links everything up, you know, your hard drives will give your flashing lights showing that it's reading. Once it's read everything, you're good to go. So I would 100 recommend. That's why I have this smaller one here. This is the T5. That one I got 2 years ago when we all were doing Vlogmas. And I got it on sale. And Angie actually got a really good deal when she bought her laptop from Best Buy. Check this out. Hold on. I like want to take it. Check out this little SSD card here, SSD drive. It's from Western Digital. Look how small this is. Look at how thin this is. And is this a terabyte? Yeah, this is a terabyte. And she got this for like $100 and they didn't have any more. I wanted to buy, and I didn't really need it. It was one of those things that it was like, I want it, but I don't need it. But look at how small and thin this is. So I would definitely say, check something like this out, right? This is a 1 terabyte drive. The only thing is that you would need an adapter because it has your standard. Let me put my iPad down. Hold on one second. That's a great question, K-Walk. So you can see, right, it's your standard hard drive plug there, where mine with the T5 is your USB-C, right? So for this one, again, but for the price, then at that point you would just use an adapter. And for the size, I want to take it. I want to put it in my pocket and take it, but I'm not going to do that to her. But get an SSD drive. I said that in the very beginning. Get an SSD drive, not a hard drive. SSD drives, less risk of failure. There's, you know, an SSD is just chips, where like internal chips, computer chips, where an actual disk drive, a hard drive, is like the little silver thing. It writes with the needle. That's what your read-write speeds are. And so because it has that little silver thing that looks like a record, a silver record, and it's actual components, it's your needle, it's all of that stuff. Hard drives, disk drives are more susceptible to damages and failures because they drop, they get bumped and all of that good stuff. Where SSDs, that's why they're also they're cheaper, they're inexpensive compared to SSD drives, because these are going to last much longer, and because it doesn't have to, that needle doesn't have to read, write, and go through the whole disk drive. That makes this faster because this can read it in a flash, right, in seconds, versus the needle going back and forth trying to read all the work. Okay, so there's that. Let's go back. K-Walk, is it easier to drag? I got you. Challenging to drag with pen or the fingers. I like both. That was another thing that I said at the very beginning, K-Walk. I do use both depending on what I'm doing. However, I always use the pencil. So like to pinch out and pinch in. Oh no, hold on. I got to bring NDI back. All right. So let me turn NDI back on. Pinch out, pinch in, those quick things. I will use, I think really it's only pinch out and pinch in. I'll use my fingers, but like to drag along the timeline, to double click, to get some fine-tuned edits, I use the pencil for that. So it's either because your pencil is going to act just like a mouse, so you're going to be able to get more precise editing. All right, so let's go back. Cool. So now we have the logo in here. So that was the assets file. Let's go back to the linked folders. And all I did was just kind of click up here and went back. Let's check out my GoPro file. And these are all the videos. So now this is what I mean by, because it's on the hard drive, you can see that everything is ready to go, right? Like it just loads. So these are all videos over here, but they load instantly because it's on an SSD drive. If I go back, right? So I'm going to click on this folder. Let's go to linked folders. And let's link my iCloud drive. So I'm just going to link my iCloud drive. Let's do my eCam folder because I have a lot of good stuff. Actually, and that's in my desktop and eCam. I'm going to link that. Now check this out. That's all the cloud. So if we click on my eCam folder, and let's say I want to look at some maybe sounds. Let's do this one, Major Summer. Nope. Uh-oh. And it might be that it's not showing up. It might be doing what it's supposed to be doing, that it's not showing up because it hasn't been downloaded from the cloud yet. 99% sure that's what it is. All right, so we're gonna click on one file. This, I'm gonna do electro hip hop. All right, so sounds electro hip hop. Let's go over to my folders, my iCloud drive, desktop, open up Ecamm, go to my sounds, the electro hip hop. And so you can see, right, over if the cloud, that's why it didn't show up in Lumafusion, because it hasn't been downloaded yet. So now what I'm going to do is write additional steps. So if you have all of your assets, organize yourself on whatever hard drive or SSD drive you're going to be working out of mostly, and then that's going to work for both Final Cut and because the formatting is going to be the same, right? So just have whatever portable hard drive and keep, if you know you use the same music, your same logos, let's say an intro scene, an outro scene, things like that, get all of your assets organized together, put that in a really good folder, organized folder on a hard drive, and then have that ready to go, because you don't want to do what we just did. So now if we go back to Lumafusion, if I back out, it should work in theory. So if I click on Ecamm, we go back to sounds and we do that electro hip hop, now it showed up. So that answered the question right there, why you would absolutely want to edit from an external hard drive versus your cloud drive. All right, so I'm going to bring this down as music, and you can choose. So you have your yellow bracket. So if we look over here, oh, hold on. Click on that again. You have your yellow, no, hold on, sorry guys. Your yellow brackets right there, right there. So you can choose if you want the whole song, or you can kind of preview this. This is gonna play through the mic. Okay, cool. Yeah, I was trying to think that it should, I don't know. Let's see where this plays through. Hold on. Let me see. I wanna keep an eye on the levels really quick. Let me mute. Nope. My system audio is unmuted. I'm not sure how this is going to come through. All right. No, don't ever apologize, K-Walk, for asking questions. These are really good questions. I love when you come in and you have your inquisitive mind on, because that also helps me with the whole tutorial and guiding through the process. So don't ever stop. Always continue asking questions, and don't ever apologize. You know better than that. I hate when we apologize unnecessarily. What is poppin', Megs? How are you? Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Brooklyn all day, every day. What's poppin'? Oh, Lee, how are you doing? What's going on? Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Asset organization, that can be a standalone stream. Good stuff. All right, you got to remind me, because you're right, because I even have to because if we go back, right, to my linked folders, you see I have an assets folder on my Samsung, but all I have are Ecamm, my one logo and Ecamm logos, and there's so many other logos and assets. First of all, this assets folder should have different folders for sounds, overlays, lower thirds, all that good stuff, right? So I agree. All right, so let's go back to the music, because I wanted to show you guys that. So we're going to click on the Ecamm sounds. We downloaded the electro hip hop. Just going to do MP3. You can do a preview. So let's see how this comes out with the preview. Let me raise this. Where's my volume? So you guys are hearing it through the lapel. So it might not be, I think the sound is coming through the lapel. My volume went all the way up, so I might be peaking. Sorry guys, let me bring that down on the Ecamm there. See, that's what I was just saying, that Lumafusion is dope with the iPad, Apple Pencil for editing, all YouTube on the go is super dope and super simple, honestly, if you just want to do basic stuff. So that's what we're going through. That makes me happy to hear that you use it and gave that feedback there. All right, so if I, let's say, want to just, again, do some skimming, you can drag your timeline. Let's see, it's like, oh, let's see, this looks like it's going to drop there. Let's play this. But let's say I want to bring that whole song down. So you can do a few different things. You can double click it from the song right on the top left-hand corner. Or if we look over here, there's that little down button. So if I'm going to come back, bring that down and click on that there. It tells you there you have some options. So do you want to place it on your secondary, your main, or overwrite? I'm just going to do main because, oh, no, we'll drag it down because I want that as my audio track on the very bottom. So what it did was it dragged it right as my main, but I don't want that to be my main because we're going to have a video and then we're going to have music in the background. So you can see on the bottom over here, you have this blue with like this little film clip. Then you have this green with kind of wave files. The green with the wave files are for music and audio files. Your blue are for your video files, your B-roll. You can do different layers. Again, if you have used some sort of editing app, that context is going to be the same from editing app to editing app. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to bring this audio back down because I want that to be my audio line. If I remember correctly, I think you can have 6 lines of each. So 6 layers of like audio and or I don't know if it's 6 layers combined or it's 6 layers of audio and 6 layers of video. But you can see here where it popped up for another line for audio, you can drag in, let's say, background audio, right? So if I wanted to do a voiceover and I had a separate recording, you can do that. You can actually do a recording, a voiceover recording directly from Lumafusion. So if I had a video that I wanted to talk through, I can connect my iPad to my microphone, play the video, and then do a voiceover while I'm doing the video, or you can bring in a separate audio file. All right, so now we have an overlay kind of lower third logo. We have an audio file. And let's bring in a video. So I wanted to go back and I want to look at that GoPro. And let's see. Oh, I got videos of Koa. Me walking Koa and she was driving me crazy. I have one where it's a time-lapse video. And let's see. I'm just trying to see. It's not that one. This one, I don't think it's that one. So I'm just going to scrub through it. Nope, that's just us walking. That's us as at the park. Let's see. No. Where is this video? All right, I'm not going to mess around with it too much, but I mean, I guess I can use this one here. I'm just kind of going back and forth. No, that's a really short one, so that's definitely not it. It was a time lapse. We're getting ice cream and water together. Not that one. Not that one. All right. For the sake of time, it's going to drive me crazy because I know it's here somewhere. What's this one? That's us leaving. Everybody was looking at her. All right. That's fine. So I'm going to bring this video down. And what I'm going to do is... Oh, is this the video that I want? No, it's not. It's fine. Let's bring this. So what I'm going to do is I am going to drag this and what I want to do is I'm going to, so I need to unlink these. So you see I'm trying to like move the videos around, and as I drag them up and down, they're all linked together. So we need to unlink these because I want to be able to move these around separately. So if we go down on the very bottom in the middle, you can see that there's like this little chain. Now they're all unlinked. They should be all unlinked. Now they're linked. Nope. Unlinked. There you go. All right. So now they're all unlinked. And I should be able to swap. There you go. So, because what I want is I want the Ecamm logo always throughout the video. This is going to be my main video here. So let's pinch in because I want to do some things. So now if we take a look at this video, the music is longer than the actual video clip itself. The Ecamm logo kind of got lost in the mix, so I'm just going to drag this down one. And the first thing I want is, the easiest thing is I'm going to just bring this down and make that the same length. So now that Ecamm logo is going to be the same throughout the whole video. And let's say this is, looks like it's about 52 seconds. So what I want to then do is I'm going to just bring in one more. And I'm going to bring this one here. Nope, I don't want to. So you see, I accidentally dropped it on. The battery died on the other one. Thank God I have a second one. Sorry about that. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate you. Thank God I stopped. How long was I muted for? I'm probably just now, I think, because he texted me and I saw it come up on the screen. So for a little bit. All right. Let's see. Let's just go back. And I looked up because I wanted to see how long I was kind of streaming for already. It's been about an hour. So I'm going to just show some quick edits really quick. And then we're going to end the stream and we'll finish. Let me double check. We'll finish another day where then I can have the overhead camera and show you guys all at the same time. All right. So no, thank you. It must have just randomly died. So like I said, I think I just went. So basically all I was saying, depending on how long it was muted for, or my sound died for, was I just added 3 clips. So now you can see my music is now shorter than the actual length of the clips. But that's cool because as I kind of scrub through these clips, right, you can see I got stuff that I need to get out of here. So these are going to be some quick things. You are very welcome, Purple Paisley. I appreciate you. So then let's just going to do some quick edits. So what I want is I'm going to go, these are kind of okay. Make this a little bit bigger. And for now, with the music, and so you can see all of these have its all audio over here, right? So on where you can see my touch, I'm gonna mute the sound audio for now because I don't want that audio track to kind of be discouraging. So we're gonna start with this other clip. Let's make this smaller. And I wanna look at this clip over here where we're in the dog bark. All right, that's actually, let's see, what do we got there? So she's not doing anything, that's the end. So I'm just gonna come in, make this a little bit longer. So I'm looking at this particular clip where if you take a look at it right over here, it's white around it, right? That white border around it shows you that the clip is highlighted. That's the clip we're gonna work out of. So what I wanna do is going a little bit slow, come in And I'm just going to wait till she gets off screen. Let's see. I know she gets off screen. And I guess right there, I'm going to clip that right there because we don't need to see her butt for the whole thing, right? So let's just come in. She does some walking. She stops, wags the tail a little bit. And now I'm going to clip that scene right where you can see the blue line is. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my scissors down over here. So all of our tools are going to be towards the middle, the bottom middle of the iPad. Take our scissors and it clipped right there. So now you can see that one clip is now two separate clips and it highlighted the secondary clip. That clip I actually want to delete it. So I'm just going to go ahead and trash that. And no big deal, because if you ever make a mistake, you have your undo button over here in the middle of the right hand side. You have your undo and redo. If you have a keyboard connected, it uses shortcut keys. I actually don't use the keyboard as much. I have the Magic Keyboard, but between my Apple Pencil and using my hands, I do all of my editing that way when I use Lumafusion. All right, cool. So if I wanted to put that clip back, all I did was undo, but I'm going to redo that. So now here's the one clip. And what I want to do is I actually want to open up the video there. So I'm going to pick this up and move it right in the front. Now, what I want you guys to notice is you can see that now this video, right, the one that I'm moving, hovering it around, I have it on top of the first clip. That first clip has a yellow border around it. Now check this out. As I move this in between the two, there becomes, it's hard to see. You can see it a little bit better there. It kind of looks like an eye. The yellow border looks like an eye with handlebars on the top and handlebars on the bottom. That's showing you that it's actually going to be placed in between. So if we go to the beginning of this clip, you're going to see it does the same thing, right? You can see it kind of gives you that little eye there with the handlebars above and between. And I want this to be the first clip. So now that clip of Koa is going to be the intro, right? But notice how it pushed my Ecamm logo. It doesn't start with it. And so if we take a look right over here where you can see I have the highlight, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a white line that's attaching this clip to this secondary clip. So I'm going to go back. That means that it's linked. So I'm just going to go back. I'm going to click this unlink. So again, on the bottom middle, you see it looks like a little chain links. Unlink, and there's no longer that dash there. Now I can pick this up and move it, right? Okay, cool. So we're just going to do some cuts. So now I cut that, and now you can see we're going to go through here, and I want to delete. Let's say I want to delete from here. So where my playhead is, I'm just going to chop right there. Actually, you got to be careful because you can see the white border is around the top video. I don't want to chop my top video. I want to chop my middle line. So I'm just going to click on the middle line. And now when I click on my scissors, it chopped my middle line. If we leave all of the videos linked with that little chain link and we chop it, it's actually going to chop all the way across. So let's go back and let's do that. Let's link these now. That's linked. I'm going to click on that. That's linked. I'm going to click on the music. I'm going to relink that. So now all of these three are linked. So I'm going to come back. I want to show you guys. I'm going to come back. And this is where I want to chop it. Now, because all of these files are linked, I click on this scissor. Oh, no. Let's do undo. There you go. So let me show you what I did. So the first time when I did it, my audio was highlighted. It had the white border around it. So when I hit chop, it only highlighted, it only chopped my audio. We're going to undo that, and I clicked anywhere in the screen. And now none of the videos or audio clips are highlighted. So when I click on my pencil, now it chopped all three files in the same exact place. I don't want to do that because I don't want to cut my music. I just want to cut that one. So I'm just going to undo, highlight my second one, and now chop that. See, all right, so she starts talking to these guys over here. She gets some attention, so I'm going to chop that and then come back and we stop to talk. So let's make this a little bit undo. Hold on. Now I want to make this a little bit bigger because I want to dial in to this video with them, right? He wanted to pet her. So let's see where he starts. Cool, he's getting ready. So I'm going to chop it right there. And then he talks to her a little bit. So I'm going to chop it again. He's super happy. All right, do another chop and then cool. So now we don't need to look at that, right? So that's going to be a garbage file. Let's go through. That's garbage. All right, bring this back in. And that's fine. So I'm going to take this file here where there's really nothing on screen. I'm going to delete that. And now I got some chops. Okay, now we sat down. We're in a different place. She wasn't listening to me. I was tapping her butt to say sit. She's not listening. All right, so let's see. I just want to see where I want to just go in. Trying to get her to sit. Being a puppy. She's usually a good listener. So I just want to come in. All right, so let's say I want to grab right here. I like that. We're looking at the water. So I'm going to make sure I highlight there. And what is going on, Kevin? How are you? All right, so I'm probably going to delete all of this where I'm trying to tell her to sit. So let me do that really quick. I'm going to take that piece, delete it, and now, actually, I'm going to chop that even more. So what do I want to do? He's there, and I'm going to chop that right there and delete. Oh, I chopped all of them, so highlight this video, chop that, delete this. Cool. All right. So now she's looking out. And then, all right, let's see, what do we got? Let's pinch this back in. And so what I'm going to do is take this here, chop that, and then, nope, highlight that video. Then chop it. Then come in. You can see I'm looking at my phone. So we're just hanging out, not doing anything. She's actually looking at, if we come in, hold on. She's looking at another dog. But I'm going to delete this stuff here because we don't need to see all of that stuff. I think I was messing with the settings. Don't need to see any of that. Don't need to see none of that. All right. This is all garbage. So I think that's good. I'm going to take that clip, delete that. Let's see. Okay, so I start to put it on the ground because I did want to get her. Yeah, and you can see that there's a guy sitting on a bench with his dog. So she's trying to check out that dog. Okay, nope, I didn't like that angle. All right, here we go. And so now, let's see. Oh, the GoPro fell. Don't want the GoPro to fall. And cool. So now I sit down. All right. And now, so I want to delete. Oh, no, let's see. Okay. So I'm going to delete all of that. Let's see, what do we got here? And now we're just hanging out. I'm giving her some treats. That's good footage there. Okay. Pet, pet, pet. She's laying down. Such a good girl. Give her kisses. All right. Anything else here? I just want to do some, like I said, want to get rid of the garbage, quote unquote, like bad footage. All right, cool. So then now I stand up. So we're getting ready to go. And there. Nope. Darn it. Highlight this. There. And now just go through here. Okay. And I'm going to take that. I want to throw that out. Yeah. And then I'll throw that out. So that is garbage. So now, if we kind of go through, let's say this is going to be the length of the video. Now I'm going to drag my logo in all the way to the end here. All right. And so now the logo is going to be through the length of the video. And then what we can do is we can start, and this is kind of where we're going to just end it, is that we can start, the next time we come back, we can start actually doing some edits. So for instance, let's say that Ecamm logo, I want it to look more like a watermark instead of it being so prominent. So then what we'll do is we're going to start going into each individual clips and double clicking them, right? So for now, because this clip is going to stay the same, that Ecamm logo is going to stay the same, just going to double click it. And what I'm going to do now is you can kind of do some blending here. So if yeah. So the blending is kind of like your transparent, what is it? Your opacity, your transparency. I just want to blend that in with the background. So you have your opacity, right? It's at 100. And let's say I want to bring that down to, let's say 50%. And so this is where I'm using the Apple Pencil. This kind of goes back to what I was saying with fine tuning. I wouldn't probably use my finger for that, but with the Apple Pencil, just kind of drag that in, get to 50. You can also click on that little pencil and then type it in if you want. That's too much work. I'm not doing that. I'm just going to go in and dial that in. And let's say you're are finicking, you're at 49.9 and you move it over and it's like 52 or whatever. You can't get it quite at 50. Then you can take your arrows. You can see that there's an arrow there and there's an arrow there. And let's say I want to get to 50. I just click it and it moves up one. Then how do you want this to blend? Normal, darken, multiply, right? So we left it at normal. And if we want to see what this looks like now, kind of full screen, I'm just going to go back. Hey, Laura, how are you? Thank you for coming through. And let's say we're going to go to the beginning. And what I'm going to do is really quick is I'm actually going to go in to the audio file. And then with the audio file, I'm going to start actually just do kind of a fade in and a fade out. So what I'm going to do is do a keyframe in the very beginning and bring the volume down. Let's say to -20. And then if I move this over, and so you can drag this and move this kind of like this, or you can use your arrows. So if we go back and you can do little by little, so go to the very end of the clip, go to the very beginning, or you can just click here and move frames, right? So you can move very slowly and you can see on the bottom that's moving up. So let's say I want to get to 0.50 and I'm going to add another keyframe and then I'm going to start to bring the volume up. And so you can see, and so for now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of drag this way. And then you'll see the difference as I bring the volume up. So we can actually go to the very first keyframe, the beginning, and we can start at 0. That was not the beginning. Now we're at the beginning. We can start at 0. I'm going to move over to the next keyframe, and then I'm going to bring this up, let's say to 30. Hold on, what's happening here? Make sure. So I'm at 0. Where's the next one? 0. Let me bring all of these down. Okay, now we're at 0. So let's go to the very first 0. Then I'm going to go to the next keyframe, bring it up to, let's say, 50. Go to the next keyframe, then bring that up. Oh, I think I'm choosing on the wrong ones. That's what I'm doing because they're so close together. There you go. So I'm just creating like random keyframes. And then let's bring this down a little bit. So you can kind of do a fade, and then let's say we want to go now all the way to the end and fade out. I'm going to do a keyframe there and then start to move over one frame and then start to bring the volume back down a little bit and kind of do the same thing, right? Just to have a fade out. All right, I'm sure I haven't been listening to it, so I just wanted to show the premise. So now let's go in, all right, and let's go to the beginning of this file. And then what I'm going to do is on the main screen, the viewing screen, if I double click that, I double click it and now I can see this full screen. And so let's play it and let's see how loud it is. That's my bigger concern. Come. Good job. What a good... I know. Oh, she heard her name. So the music, for whatever reason, we can't hear. And what I'm actually going to do is this whole audio track, this line, I'm going to mute that. So now I muted. What I did was, you see on the left-hand side, you have your audios over here, like right where you can see the touch screen. So the main line over here, you can match up, right? There's little volumes. I'm just going to click on the mute, and that's going to mute all of my audio so that all we're going to see is here is the music. There you go. So wasn't what is it? It wasn't a smooth transition, but then I can go back, right? And kind of, that's because the keyframes that I did over here are bad. So I'm going to delete some keyframes, kind of start from the beginning again. I just messed up. So now we're here. So let's start at 0 in the very beginning. Everything is at 0. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just come in, do a keyframe there and start to gradually, no, got to be a keyframe in the beginning. So there's a keyframe at 0. Then I'm just going to move my playhead up. And Paul, no, I have not really started using Auphonic. Honestly, I know I need to. Let me do another one and now bring this up, start to bring this volume up. There you go. And then I'm going to drag this over. This should be a better, no, let's go back. This should be a better audio transition this way, like that. And then bring this up a little bit more. And then one more keyframe, come over this way. Keep this at, like, let's say 19. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come all the way towards the end. All right, so when I stand up, kind of, I'm going to start to fade it out. So there's a keyframe there. Move a little bit. Now bring this volume back down, move some more, bring the volume down, and then kind of fade it down to 0. That should be better. So no, I have not GoPro clips thinking great. Diana, nobody told you to come to this stream. I knew and I thought about it and I didn't talk crap. But yes, these are my GoPro clips that I got that day that I went out with Koa. I'm trying to show quick editing on Lumafusion. You're so funny. I appreciate you, Diana. No, and I keep saying, Paul, that I need to use Auphonic. Because, I've been doing the 100 days. I haven't really. The videos that I have done this year, I've just used Final Cut Pro's audio editor thing, but I need to use Auphonic because I know Doc talks about it. A lot of people talk about it. So I'm going to start that. And then I guess I can do a comparison, having never used it and only done the Final Cut Pro audio editing. All right, so let's just go back. Let's make this bigger. So now the fade in and fade out should be a little bit better. Let's see what this sounds like. So I need to do, so now you can hear the fade, right? So let's skip, let's go down to the end. I have to adjust the fade in the beginning because it took too long to start, but you guys get the premise. And then here, so this looks like this is where it starts to fade out. Let's see. And that faded out. So that was a good fade out, right? That was definitely much better. And that's kind of where we're at for the evening. So we went over organizing your files using an SSD drive. Let me just come back to you guys. Main screen, where are we? over here. So we went over basically the interface of Lumafusion tonight, right? Looking at it, understanding how to create a new project file, setting your defaults for your project file, really looking at a real life example of trying to edit off of, let's say, a cloud file versus keeping stuff on your iPad versus keeping dedicated files on a hard drive. My personal recommendation is to always edit off of your hard drive, keep your assets and your files organized there first, linking your files and dedicated folders in your hard drive and where your media is in Lumafusion, so that Lumafusion, you can point to it directly and just have quick access as you go back and forth. And then starting to really, all we really spent the bulk of the time doing was, once I figured out what clips I wanted to add in, was making a clip longer, making a clip shorter, moving around the clips. So switching out a clip that was towards the end, putting that as the first clip, and then really trimming out. So going through, and that's how I've been doing my process. When I do edit videos, I just upload whatever video it is first, and then I just trim out all the fat and all of the mistakes and, you know, things that I know do not need to be, that I don't want it to make it into the final edit. That's how I start first. Then once I trim out all the fat and the ugly stuff, that's when I go in and I start maybe like zooming in, right? So like for me, what I think I want to do is, just with this video, when we come back with this section over here, with this guy's face, he was so happy, right? He's smiling. I want to go back in, and what I would do is I would actually take that and I would just kind of zoom in on his face, right? And make that kind of really center. So just start to create the size, come in here, and he's so happy and she's so happy, right? You don't want to get them too cut off, but now check that out, right? So if we come in, and that'll be the last edit, for real, for real. That's the last edit. Oh, you guys can't even see what I'm doing. Hold on, sorry, my bad. My bad, let's just come back. Darn it. So let me come back and let me just undo all of that stuff, because that was actually really quick. So I just want to get this. All right. So what I did was I went into this file here, this one, where he's looking at me and he's smiling. He's so happy that he's getting to play with Koa. So I'm going to take this clip, double click that, and then just go into, no, I don't want to do that. Go into the size and start to make this bigger. So on the right hand side, you can see I made it bigger, and then drag the video over so that he's bigger, and kind of get the both of them. Get Koa, get him. Let's see. And that looks pretty good there. Yeah, bring him up to the top, catch her whole body, and then just a quick zoom in, zoom out. And so if we go back, right, and now we can double click this, and I want to play it from right before I made my edits. Move the playhead a little bit back, and oh wait, I did something. I don't know what happened there. What did I do? Because that went by really fast. Why did that do that? That was weird. Did I speed this up? It's probably time for me to, I did something that went super quick, so I got to figure out what happened. But if I maybe slow it down, let's slow this down to half the speed. See what that does. Let's see, play. I might have to go back and make that video longer. I know I edited that video and cut it, so that clip I might have to like kind of redo. But when we come back to the Lumafusion edits, we'll go into the deep dive of resizing and cropping and trimming and like kind of zooming in on something, zooming out, adding in overlays. So like if you wanted to point, you know, bring an arrow or bring in titles and transitions and all of that good stuff, we'll definitely go into that stuff a little bit more, and then just kind of putting it all together. So that is what we have for this evening. Hopefully you guys found it valuable. You can see a few people have already said Lumafusion is super dope. I know that I've been talking about it for a while. Definitely one of my favorite editing apps. I would say probably my go-to even before Final Cut Pro, because I feel like it's a lot more user-friendly from a beginner's perspective. But it's one of those things that I've been forcing myself to use Final Cut Pro, because as I start to create more videos, you know, there's Final Cut Pro is a $300 software versus a $30 software. Now, don't get me wrong, Lumafusion, you can do a lot of stuff. And you can even download like plugins where there's this guy, his name is Rob HK Vlogs. I'm a patron of his that I've bought. He has different transition effects and overlays and things like that that you can bring in. They're a little bit more complicated to do. I feel like that you have to learn how to use those plugins on Lumafusion, where with Final Cut Pro, when you buy a plugin, you literally just kind of just drag that file in and it does the work for you. But there are options for that. The options are limited compared to what you can get with like Final Cut Pro plugins, but there are cool things there as well. So Paul says, I will keep my, keep your Final Cut Pro, right? Because you already started there. So that was the thing for me. When I first started, when we were doing Vlogmas 2 years ago, I didn't have Final Cut Pro yet. I was just so new to everything. I've always had an iPad and an Apple Pencil, and it was inexpensive compared to Final Cut. So I was like, all right, let me start with this and let me learn. Now that did help me, that when I moved to Final Cut Pro, I was already familiar with, oh, okay, I know how to add in an overlay title. I know how to double click and size and refit. So that familiarity of editing, it definitely helped. And now I go between the two. But you know, hey Dean, how are you? Yes, you can get and that's what I ended up doing, Paul. I ended up getting the bundle, the student bundle for $199. And I have Logic, Motion, Final Cut Pro, all of that good stuff. But it's still, right, $200 versus $30. So, oh, Dean, you're going to open up a can of worms. You can get the student bundle package. Paul can tell you we're going to end the stream there. And if not, we can talk about it a little bit tomorrow. But that is all we wrote for this evening. Let's come back over here. Just wanted to make sure. There you go. Thanks, Paul. Wanted to make sure that as I start to close it out, because we are on day 82, 18 days to go, that I definitely made sure that I use these last final 3 weeks to continue to add value and do some more of these tutorials. So lots more to dive into. But as I mentioned in the beginning of this, I'm going to do some videos. So once my challenge ends, I'll be doing pre-recorded videos again. Lumafusion will add into that. We'll do some more during the live stream. And then I'm also going to do kind of like a mini masterclass I'll have available on my website, where then it'll be like specific, really detailed pre-recorded videos that you can always have access to. So Purple Paisley Planner, thank you for coming through and being a supporter. I'm super glad to see you coming through the last couple of days and supporting. That means a lot to me, helps keep me motivated when I see the community growing. So I appreciate you. Thank you. They don't check anything. Yes, exactly. You teach, so you educate. That Paul is 100% right about that. So absolutely get the bundle and take advantage. Don't overpay if you don't have to. All right, you guys. So I will be back tomorrow with day 83, 17 days to go. How exciting. Tomorrow I am giving the premise. I have to send that email out. The webinar, the Ecamm on Deck webinar tomorrow was supposed to be the last day, but I didn't realize it's also Angie's birthday tomorrow when I did the planning. So I'm pushing the Ecamm on Deck Stream Deck webinar to next week, Thursday. That'll be the last day. We're going to close out that series. And then tomorrow's going to be a really quick stream so I can make sure that I spend a good amount of time with her, because I'll be going back home on Friday. So you are very welcome, K-Walk. I appreciate you. We are going to be back doing the thing that we do tomorrow. I really should label this end scene because I have no idea. Oh, there it is. I just couldn't see it. All right, cool. Appreciate you guys. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out, y'all. Good night. Buenos nachos.